Hey guys, it's me and welcome back to the Turbo List. Today we are diving into a special list, the top 5 sleeper cars under 10,000 euros. These are the rides that don't scream speed from the outside, but that once you smash the throttle, they can hang with far more expensive cars. We are counting down from 5 to the ultimate sleeper, so buckle up and let's jump right in. At number 5 we got the 5th generation Volkswagen Golf GTI with the iconic 2-liter TFSI engine. Stock it pushes out around 200 horsepower, which doesn't sound crazy, but thanks to its turbo, it pulls hard from low RPMs. With just a stage 1 revamped intake and exhaust, you can easily push past 300 horsepower, enough to shock many bigger and flashier cars on the street. This engine is not only tunable but also surprisingly reliable, making it the perfect platform for weekend projects or daily fun. The Mk5 chassis is stiff and well balanced. The suspension is already solid from factory, but upgraded with the coilovers or a rear sway bar and maybe wider tires, and it transforms into a backroad weapon. It handles corners with confidence and the steering is sharp enough to feel connected to the road, yet friendly enough for daily driving. You can still find a clean example in Europe between 3,000 to 7,000 euros depending on the mileage and condition. It's a car that is cheap to maintain because parts are basically everywhere and also aftermarket support is excellent. For tuning, the 2-liter TFSI loves boost, so a small turbo upgrade or an intercooler swap can make it feel like a completely different car. And if you just want a daily that can embarrass much pricier rides at the lights, this is it. The Mk5 GTI proves that you don't need flashy looks to have a serious fun. It's subtle, fast and endlessly enjoyable. And now at number 4 we have the Audi S3 8L, which is a subtle powerhouse on our list. It packs the 1.8-liter turbo engine with of course Quattro all-wheel drive, pushing out 210 horsepower. With a stage 1 ECU tune and some bolt-ons, you can push well over to 250 horsepower. The combination of turbo torque and all-wheel drive traction makes it feel glued to the road. Even in wet and snowy conditions, it pulls confidently out of corners like a much pricier sports car. The Quattro system makes this S3 corner like it's on rails. The chassis is solid and the suspension can handle modest upgrades without compromising ride quality. With coilovers, upgraded sway bars and sticky tires, it becomes a backroad beast, all while looking like an ordinary compact hatchback. That's the true sleeper appeal. And the best part, you can score a solid S3 for around 6,000 or 8,000 euros depending on the mileage and condition of course. Parts are slightly pricier than the Golf, but it's worth it for that all-wheel drive grip and tuning potential. Turbo softs, intercooler upgrades or a proper exhaust can push it past 280 horsepower easily. It's also surprisingly usable as a daily driver thanks to that refined interior and comfortable suspension. The S3 8L is proof that all-wheel drive and the turbo can make a modest hatchback to a real street predator. And now at number 3 we have one of the best cars ever made and one of my favorite cars ever, which is the BMW E46 330i. A perfect example of BMW's legendary inline-6. Stock it produces around 231 horsepower, but it's a smooth and rev-happy M54 engine that makes it feel faster than the numbers suggest. With minor upgrades like intake headers and ECU tunes, you can enhance throttle response and make every shift feel sharper. This is the kind of engine that puts a grin on your face every single time you hit the gas. The E46 chassis is pure magic, 50-50 weight distribution, rear-wheel drive and the steering that feels so alive. The car is playful yet balanced and the suspension reacts beautifully to upgrades. Coilovers, bushings or slight camber enhancements, they transform this car into a track-ready machine while still being perfectly usable as a daily driver. And yet you can still find a solid E46 330i for around 5,000 to 9,000 euros depending on mileage and conditions also, and of course the spec. Parts are widely available and aftermarket support is massive. From subtle OEM Plus builds to full track-focused machines, this platform is incredibly versatile. And if you want a car that looks classic but still drives like a modern sports car, the E46 is your ultimate choice. The E46 330i proves that smooth inline-6, perfect balance and rear-wheel drive can still beat many modern sports cars at having fun. And at number 2 we got something a bit more aggressive, the Mercedes C55 AMG W203, the proper V8 sleeper. The 5.4-liter supercharged V8 pumps out 367 horsepower with insane torque, giving you instant thrust as soon as you hit the gas. Stock is already capable of embarrassing much pricier cars, but with minor tuning like an ECU remap, higher flowing exhaust or a pulley upgrade, you can extract even more power without touching the internals. It's raw, aggressive and absolutely addictive to drive. The W203 chassis might look a little understated, but it handles remarkably well for a big sedan. The AMG suspension keeps it planted through corners, brakes are strong and confidence-inspiring, and the steering feels precise. Add coilovers, better bushings and stickier tires and it becomes a serious track-capable sleeper, all while looking like a normal C-Class on the street. Also, clean examples of the C55 AMG can be found in Europe for around 8 to 10,000 euros, depending on the mileage and condition, of course. Maintenance is slightly more expensive than regular Mercedes, but it's also fair trade for a proper V8 with tons of tuning potential. Performance exhaust, pulley upgrades, or even just a lightweight flywheel will make this car a more thrilling experience. It's also surprisingly usable as a daily driver with the classic AMG sound, turning heads everywhere. The C55 AMG proves that you don't need a flashy exterior to experience raw V8 power and massive smiles per euro. And now finally at number 1, the BMW 335i E92. This car is the ultimate sleeper. Under the hood sits the legendary N54 twin-turbo inline-6, producing around 306 horsepower stock. The torque curve is insane, it pulls hard from low revs and keeps accelerating with authority. With a stage 1 or stage 2 tune, supporting mods or even a turbo upgrade, hitting 400 horsepower isn't uncommon, making it a true giant killer on the streets. The E92 chassis is beautifully balanced, rear-wheel drive with 50-50 weight distribution. The suspension is tight but compliant, steering is direct and the car feels so alive in every corner. Upgrade the coilovers, sway bars or even limited slip differential and the 335i becomes a backroad monster while still being refined enough for daily driving. It's the perfect mix of aggressive performance and subtle sleeper style. And yet you can still find a clean 335i for around 9 to 12,000 euros in Europe, depending on the mileage and condition. Parts are plentiful and the aftermarket support for the N54 engines is huge. From tuning to suspension upgrades, you can build exactly the car you want. Daily driver, absolutely. Weekend weapon, definitely. This car proves that modern turbo technology can be affordable and thrilling. The 335i E92 is the ultimate sleeper. Subtle looks, insane twin turbo power and a chassis that's pure joy to drive. That's why it takes the top spot on my list. So that's it, the top 5 sleeper cars under 10,000 euros. These cars prove that you don't need looks to get your adrenaline pumping. Now, which one would you add to your garage? Drop it in the comment sections down below, I definitely wanna hear your picks. And also smash that like button if you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss other insane car contents in the future. And also don't forget to stay tuned for the S5 rebuild and that insane E46 whole build in the future. But now stay very positive, drive safe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye!